The day that the Lord has made, we are rejoicing and we are glad in it. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I do not like when I see lights in my view. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the day that the Lord has made. You know, I'm already rejoicing and I'm glad in it. If you are joining me live, it is 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. While you're coming on, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know your boy Ramon, my squad, and the Ramon Preston Show. We're live right here from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. I'm super excited about today's show because I'm going to be talking to you about the biggest asset that you have as an entrepreneur. And if you're not a business owner, if you're not a ministry executive, I still want you to see that just as a human, as an employee, as a member of your household, there are still entrepreneurial responsibilities you have. And if you can dial in on the biggest asset that you have as an entrepreneur, you can prosper, you can see success, you can experience more accomplishments in your life. So hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody, let them know the Ramon Preston Show is live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. And I need you to put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. Put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. I would love to know what city you're watching me from. I also want to say thank you for supporting this movement. Thank you for being a part of our community, whether it's our business community, our ministry community, or both. I really appreciate your love. I appreciate your prayers. I appreciate your support. I want to congratulate all of you who are a part of our programs, whether you are in our ministry programs or our business programs. I want to congratulate you. Listen, one of the hardest things it is for anyone to do is to, number one, take their hard-earned money and then invest it in education and training and mentorship and coaching. So all of you that are watching who have recently joined one of our educational or mentorship programs, I want to say congratulations to you. That is a major accomplishment. For me, as a minister and as an entrepreneur for over 2 decades, I'm an educator at heart. Where I am in my life today is totally connected to self-education. I do not have a formal education. I dropped out of school as a teenager. I never received a high school diploma. I never received any type of academic certifications. All of the degrees and the things that I have accumulated over the last 2 decades are really just results of my body of work that people have acknowledged over the course of time. But I've never sat down in a real university. And the reason why I'm using that as a flex is because I have always been committed to self-education. And so what I teach you, especially as an entrepreneur, about holding companies and structures and systems and processes and creative tax strategies and financial literacy and real estate investing and all the things that I teach in my programs and in my mentorship, these are things that I have learned over the last 20 years, and I have polished and perfected and packaged it in ways to make it edible for those of you that follow me and that trust me to educate you and to mentor you. So I want to say congratulations to you and thank you. Thank you for trusting my team and I to help you take your business and your finances, and even for those of you that are in ministry, your ministries to the next level. So today I want to talk to you about your biggest asset as an entrepreneur. Your biggest asset as an entrepreneur. I don't know, you might have an idea what your biggest asset is, but maybe you feel like there are certain things that you have as an entrepreneur that you consider to be your biggest assets. So if you have some things in mind, I want you to put in the comments, what are those things that you believe are assets to you as an entrepreneur? Is it your communication? Is it your sales skill? Is it your ability to market? Is it your product, your service? Is it your work ethic? Is it your determination? Is it your loyalty? What do you have right now just at the top of your mind that you can identify as an asset that you use as an entrepreneur? And again, if you don't own a business, I still want you to adopt the responsibility of an entrepreneur. I want you to start, honing in on the entrepreneurial tendencies that you have, because entrepreneurship is all about making exchanges, okay? So when you hear me talk about entrepreneurship, when you hear me address entrepreneurs, I'm really talking about this thing that we do on a day-to-day basis in terms of exchanging with one another. So whether it's an idea you have, whether it's a product or service, whether it's your time, whether it's your skill set, you can do this on a job, you could do this as an independent contractor, you could do this as a preacher, a minister, a pastor, a business owner, a community service member. You could do this in any space. It's entrepreneurship. It's the exchange of ideas, goods, products, services. So we all have these characteristics. So I want to know from you. Like what are the things that you can identify as assets that you use on a day-to-day basis as an entrepreneur. And please, don't leave me out here hanging. I want you to drop in the comments your responses. A lot of times I ask you, probably all the time, I ask you to put in the comments certain things, not just for me, because I'm not always able to look at the comments, but a lot of times I'm asking you to do that because there are other people who circle back around, who watch the videos. Like all the time, I hear people tell me, I saw you on YouTube. I found you on social media. I watch your videos. I binge watch 20, 40, 50 of your videos. These are people who might not be on the live when we're airing it live, but they come back and they see it. And so I want them to see the interaction. I want them to know that you are part of the community. You are supporting this movement. And the movement is about us helping people start and structure and scale their businesses and their finances and their ministries and their organizations to get them to the next level. That's my passion. That's my purpose when it comes to what I do as a business mentor, a coach, a consultant, and an educator. So here it is. What is, as far as I'm concerned, what is the biggest asset that you have as an entrepreneur? I believe the biggest asset you and I both have as entrepreneurs is our ability and really our right to do one thing: pivot. Like if everything else you have fails, if you can't sell, if you can't market, if your products and services suck, if you don't have team members, if you're a solopreneur scrapping it out, if your credit is tore up from the flow up, if you ain't got a pot to put it in or willing to throw it out, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no job, if all you have as an entrepreneur is this one thing right here, I promise you there's going to always be an opportunity for you. Your ability, your right, your capacity, your willingness, your readiness to pivot is by far your biggest asset as an entrepreneur. Now, I'm going to explain to you why I believe your ability to pivot, your right to pivot, the power that you possess to pivot. I'm going to explain to you why I believe this is by far your biggest asset as an entrepreneur. But I want you to really wrap your mind around what I'm saying. Now, to pivot, let's just say in basketball, right? If you watch basketball or you're familiar with basketball, when someone pivots, that means they are holding the ball, they have possession of the ball, right? And even though they have one foot planted, they are free to move the other foot around so that they can figure out what their next move is. That's what a pivot in basketball is considered. All right, so if you ever see a basketball player who dribbles the ball, they're moving around with the ball, and then they stop, they already know that they might not be able to start bouncing the ball again because that would be considered double dribbling, right? They can't move too fast with their feet holding the ball. That would be considered traveling. So when they stop, but they still have possession of the ball, they have this ability to use this pivot. So now they got one foot that's planted, but they have another foot that's free, and they can move. They can move all around. So they can see the whole court. They can see where the players are. They can fake. They can make these kind of moves as long as they stay on their pivot. I want you to translate this over to being an entrepreneur, because where you and I are right now in the economy today, if there's no other asset that you have, you got to have this asset. You got to have this asset. Now, one of the reasons why you need this asset of a pivot as an entrepreneur is because a lot of people are contracting because they are afraid to move. They don't know what the next play is going to be for their business. Most people don't even know what the next play is going to be for their own personal lives. And when you look at what's going on right now in the economy, banks are failing, industries are being disrupted, businesses are closing. There's one recent study that shows over 1,600 businesses shut down every day. Can you believe that? Over 1,600 businesses shut down every day. Every day. So that means, according to this study, today, on this Wednesday, March the 22nd, today, if that study is correct, today over 1,600 businesses will shut down. One of the reasons why over 1,600 businesses will shut down today and tomorrow and the next day and the day after is because of this one word right here. They don't know how to pivot. I already know they got lame excuses for why they shutting down. I don't want to be in business no more. I'm sick of it. Ain't nobody buying my products and services. The market is not demanding what I have anymore. They have all these excuses. I can't find funding. I don't have money to pay for ads. Nobody wants to give me a line of credit. None of that is more critical to an entrepreneur than this. Your ability to pivot. Your ability to look at the landscape of what's going on right now and be willing and ready and really educated, trained, and able to pivot into what's next and what's new for you. Trust me when I tell you this, because my company, my organization, my staff, and a lot of the colleagues that I work with, trust me when I tell you this, there are entrepreneurs today who are making boatloads of money. Every day I come into this office, I remind my staff that all of you are six-figure earners if you're working for this company. Your bare minimum is going to be $100,000 a year, because this is the greatest time ever for entrepreneurs. But you got to believe that, and you have to accept that, and you have to act on it. And you have to understand that your biggest asset right now is not just your ability to communicate. I got the gift of gab. I'm a preacher. I've been a full-time preacher for over 23 years. That's all I do is preach. I've preached thousands of sermons. I've taught seminars, and man, I've done so much as a preacher and even as an entrepreneur. It baffles me when I think about how much I've done just in the last 22, 23 years. But guess what? I show up every day right now like this is my first year in business. This is my first year in ministry. This is my first year. But I know one thing, no matter how much I've done in the last 23 years, my ability to communicate, my ability to articulate, my ability to show up and to shine and have charisma, my ability to sell in the market, my ability to learn and to train and to network, all that stuff is very important. But to me, it's not as important as my ability to pivot. Can you pivot? Can you pivot? And according to studies, a lot of entrepreneurs can't pivot. Because right now, and I'm talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, like my team and I, we are on a mission. Like we are on a real mission right now because we see a lot of entrepreneurs are giving up. A lot of entrepreneurs are putting their business ideas to the side. A lot of entrepreneurs are, they're shelving their businesses thinking that, you know what, I'm going to come back around to my business after the recession or once the market changes. That is the worst mistake you can make. That is the worst mistake you can make. Even if you have to go back and work a job, so what? Go back and work that job and figure out the best way to pivot in another direction for your business. There are opportunities out here in the marketplace for you to make money, for you to do business, but you have to understand what the biggest asset is that you have. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how good you can sell and market. It don't matter how good you are with graphic designing or with communicating or all the stuff that we do in terms of skill sets. Listen, the people who are good at a lot of those things, they are not going to be as successful as the people who know how to pivot. Do you understand what I'm saying? You gotta get this thing down. You gotta get this thing down. Now, just this past Monday, okay, today is Wednesday. On Monday night, I host my weekly coaching call. So every Monday, I bring all of my coaching clients and my mentees and even my licensees and people who we are training and working with on a partnership level. We give them access to our private coaching call. Okay, it's a private Zoom call. It's live. We come together. I do some teaching. We do deep diving. We had some great dialogue just this past Monday. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I was talking to my mentees, people who pay tens of thousands of dollars, some of them because they've been around a long time, but most of them pay at least a couple $1,000s to be in our mentorship program, to have access to our educational platform, to have access to our training, to have access to our workshops and to our weekly calls. And this past Monday, I was talking to them about this same dynamic. This is a dynamic, okay? So your biggest asset as an entrepreneur is your ability to pivot, all right? So if you're taking notes, I want you to write down pivoting is a dynamic. Pivoting is a dynamic. I want you to write that down, okay? So your ability to pivot, this thing that we call pivoting, it is your biggest asset, but it's also a dynamic. Now, when I use the term or the word dynamic, I am referring to the fact that thank you, I appreciate it. I am referring to the fact that your ability to pivot, which is your biggest asset, is something that has the power to explode your life. Okay? If something is defined and described as a dynamic, that means it has the power, it has the potential, it has the possibility to create an explosion. See, you're watching me today, and I'm telling you, today needs to be the day that you do this. Because doing this is this. Uh-oh, I lost everything. Your biggest asset. Pivoting is your biggest asset. And being able to pivot and utilize your biggest asset is going to be the thing that you use to explode your life. I'm telling you, there are 22 million millionaires in the United States right now. 22 million millionaires. Studies show that within the next 3 years, that number is going to double. That number is going to double mostly from people who are pivoting, who are using this as their asset, and who are setting a new dynamic in motion. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, what you're hearing today is way more prophetic than what you think it is. It's way more prophetic than what you think it is. I've been telling my mentees this at least for the past week or two. I've been talking to my staff, training with them personally for the last few days because I know there's a pivot taking place. We're in a pivotal moment. And what we see going on with the banks, what we see going on with the disruption of industries, what we see going on with AI and technologies and chatbots and all these things that are happening all like interchangeably, these are all things that are really showing you the criticality of your pivot, because you have to be willing, be ready, and able today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year, today, to set a new dynamic in motion. You got to be willing, you got to be ready, and you got to be able to set a new dynamic in motion. We have a question. I want to make sure I get to this question. Vic Marie, love you so much. So proud of you. One of our mentorship mentees. Her question is, can you share a strategy on deciding when it's time to make the move? The move. For example, I know I need to pivot, but I'm still figuring out when it's the right time to make the final jump. Now, really good question, especially when you are the head of your household, you have responsibilities, and let's just say, for example, you're working a job, you're making a living, you're just doing what you gotta do to pay bills and to get by, and you know deep down inside it's time for you to pivot. So closely related to this question, in my example, when do you know it's time? When do you know it's time to basically put that notice in, cut that off, and move on to something new? Well, one of the ways you know this is when you have been able to at least go to the marketplace and generate some revenue. Like, one of the things that you hear a lot of successful business owners say is sales solve all problems. So the way you strategically gauge when you're ready to step all the way into full-time business, even if it's full-time ministry, if it's ministry, it may not necessarily be sales, but it may very well be some form of revenue, some form of sustainable support, sponsorship, donorship, or partnerships of people or organizations that are at least helping to finance your freedom to do what you do every day. As a business owner or an entrepreneur, the way you know it's time for you to pivot into it, meaning that you leave the workforce and you come into your business full time, is you have to gauge it by sales. Now, it doesn't mean, especially when you're a believer, it doesn't mean you're not going to have the propensity to step out. It doesn't mean you ain't going to feel like this unction and this spiritual drive for you to just go forward, because that's going to stay there. It ain't going to go nowhere. All right. And a lot of times God's got to create some disruption and dysfunction where you are in the workplace to really force you into it. But forcing you into it is really him forcing you into getting sales, making sure that you have at least created a minimum viable product. You got to have something to work with. Either you own the product or you're using the product, but you got to have something, because if you don't have anything other than this unction to step out, and then you step out, what's going to happen tomorrow when you wake up and you don't have any stable source of income, anything that's sustainable, and you still haven't figured out the what? Like, what am I selling? What am I going to monetize? What am I going to make money off of? So this is one of the reasons, and I really appreciate that question, because a lot of people have this same question, especially entrepreneurs who are working jobs. This is one of the reasons why I teach the way I teach, because if you follow my formula, if anyone follows my formula, they will see that the first step is essentially the structure, because I want people to understand that they need a business structure if they plan on running real businesses and not just being self-employed or solopreneurs or entrepreneurs out there scrapping. But while you're building the structure, I always explain that while you're building this structure for your business, you want to work on yourself, which is your position. Like, what role are you going to play in your company, and what role is your position going to play in the marketplace? So when you go out here to the marketplace, you are clear about who you are and what it is that you are telling. Let's see here. Stop playing with me today. Oh, wow. I guess it just shut down on me. And you're telling the market what exactly, I guess, it want to shut down on me. There we go. Trying to write the word marketplace. Okay, so you start with structure, but then you need to work on your position, and you need to work on your products or your services, or both. The reason why this is important here, the reason why the products and services are important, is because, let's say, for example, I start Ramon Preston Enterprises. So I have my structure. I know my company is set up the right way, right? Okay, my position, I'm the CEO, I'm the brand ambassador, I'm the visionary, I'm the main salesperson, I'm the marketer. I got to be everything at first, so I got to be all positions here. I did the same thing, right? The next thing that I need to be thinking about is, what are the products and services that I have that I can take with me to the marketplace? I have to have something to take to the marketplace. If you can just, as an entrepreneur, figure this part out right here, you have way more to work with than most entrepreneurs and business owners today. This is why 1,600 or more businesses shut down every day. Because even if they have a structure, a LLC, a holding company, a S Corp, a C Corp, they probably don't have somebody who's in the position. What position? I'm not just the CEO. I'm the sales person. I'm the marketer. I'm the financial person. I'm the operator. I have to be everything. I started that way. But at least I know, because now I can wrap my mind around the fact that I have to wake up every day with the pressure of running a business that's not making enough money, figuring out how to make enough money, marketing my product and service, working on my product and service, providing the product and service when I do get a client, selling them on it. I got to do all of that. But at least if I understand that, it makes it easier for me to wrap my mind around it, okay? But then you need products and services. Now here, if you don't have products and services, if you don't own them, you need to find people who have them that you can use. Because it may take you a while to own the products and services that you want to sell. So maybe you need to find somebody who owns them and use them, because you need to figure out how you could get to that marketplace. The quicker you do just that, the better off you're gonna be. Because now, even if you don't have a sales script, if you don't know how to market properly, if you don't have a CRM yet, if you haven't figured out some of the systems and processes and some of the logistics with running it, at least you can show up on social media every day and say, hey, my name is Ramon Preston. I'm with Ramon Preston Enterprises. I'm the CEO, and here are the products and services that we have. And here is what these products and services can do. Here is the value I want to bring and provide for you. And I could just do that over and over again until I start monetizing. So I would say, just back to that other question that I got, I would say to any entrepreneur, if you do not have some type of minimum viable product, something that you know you can have the confidence to go into the marketplace and sell, you don't want to pivot out of a job and pivot into your business full time without having that part figured out. So yes, you can still pivot. You can still pivot, but you don't want to pivot out of the job into a business when you haven't figured out how to monetize whatever it is that you have. You don't want to do that. That is not the right pivot. You don't want to pivot out of this into this without knowing how to make money. So you have to, while you're here, you're going to be stressed, you're going to be overworked, you're going to be under pressure, you're going to be feeling the stretch and the strain every day. It's going to be hard. But while you're here, whether it's before you go to work, while you're working, during your breaks, or after you work, you have to figure out that position, product, and service part, so that during these times you can sneak over here to the marketplace and see how you can monetize something. You got to do that. You got to sneak over here. I got to sneak here before I go to work. I got to sneak over here during my break. I got to sneak while I'm working, during my break, after I'm working, because I have to justify totally pivoting over here. You can't justify it if you don't have money. The only way you justify that is knowing that you have the ability to make money. A lot of people make that mistake. And see, I know this firsthand, because remember, when me and my wife got married 20 years ago, I was a full-time entrepreneur, but I was a struggling entrepreneur, and my life showed that I was struggling. I didn't have a pot to put it in or a window to throw it out. I didn't have nothing. My children suffered because of that. My family suffered because of that. My church suffered because of that. And even though I had faith to step out and go full time in my business or as an entrepreneur, I did not have the wisdom and the stability in my financial life to actually make that move. So it was essentially prematurely. So I was homeless. I couldn't pay no bills. I lost my car. I got my car repossessed. I couldn't afford the payments, all because I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur and I didn't want to go work for someone. That was a mistake I made over 20 years ago. And I suffered for a year or two before I met my wife. And when I met my wife said, I'm going to support you as an entrepreneur. I don't want you to have to check out of entrepreneurship, because by that time, my wife saw my vision. Okay? She saw my vision. She saw that I had a vision for ministry. I was already a preacher. She saw I had a vision for business. I was already putting business ideas together. I had already experimented with it. And my wife said, you know what? You're going to work these two out. And while you're working them out to the point that you can afford to do them full time and take care of me and us and our family, my wife said, I'm going to make sure that I'm over here with a stable source of income that I can afford to finance your vision. Everybody doesn't have a spouse like that. Before I had her, I had this, but I didn't have her or the money. So it was a mistake for me to not work a job, not have some stream of income coming in, because it would have made me work harder. It would have stressed me out. I would have been tired, but it would have proven me earlier. So by the time I got with my wife, I could have already been a little ahead. So I just want to encourage all of you, just because you are in that transitional period between a job and a business, it doesn't mean you got to give up on your business. Don't give up on the business. Don't give up on the ministry. Don't give up on the church. Don't give up on the dream. Don't give up on the idea. Don't give up on the revelation. Don't give up on the things that God has given to you. Hold on to those things. This too shall pass. See, I'm preaching to you before I preach to you. This too shall pass. God has given you that vision. He's giving you that idea. He's giving you that revelation. He's giving you the ingenuity of that product, that service, that invention. He's put that intellectual property inside of your spirit. It's going to come to pass. But while you are preparing for it to come to pass, you may have to work just to take care of the bills, just to maintain the integrity for yourself and for your family. Because again, I didn't do that before I got married. And my family suffered. My children suffered. My church suffered. I suffered. Everybody suffered because I didn't have nothing. And the only reason why I was able to do it 20 years ago was because I had a wife who said, I'm not going to let you abort your vision. You're not going to abort the ministry God's given to you and the business God has given to you. Those ideas, she used to always tell me, those are $1 million ideas you got, honey. But you gotta make some money. You gotta figure it out, and you need time. This is what she used to always encourage me. Yes, you're gonna do it, but you need time. And so while you're working it out, I'm gonna be over here getting that bag, making sure that I can support you. And guess what? She'll tell you. I don't even have to brag and tell you. It paid off for her, because 20 years later, she's the boss. She's good. She's financially free. She's debt free. She's a mogul in and of herself. She generates millions of dollars of real estate every year easily. She sells $5 million worth of real estate in her sleep. She don't have no problem making money. She got deals lined up. She got to say no to deals. That's just in real estate, not including all the other stuff she does in business. But my point to you is, you still have to be willing to pivot. And you can't pivot out of a business just because you got to go work a job. And you can't pivot out of the job just because you want to run a business. All right. CB Enterprises says it's easier to teach a child than someone that has the knowledge but never used it. I'm still opening up to be re-educated. That's awesome. Vic Marie, she said, thank you, Vic Marie. She says, thank you for taking my question. That was powerful. Got it. Prophetic from beginning to end. That's awesome. So just to kind of summarize this whole big asset of a pivot, let me just say to you that now is the time. Now is the time for you as an entrepreneur, for you as a leader, for you as a dreamer, for you as a visionary. Now is the time for you to pivot more into the entrepreneurship. It doesn't mean you have to pivot out of things that give you stability, whether it's a job, whether it's whatever the things are that you're obligated to. You just need to figure out creative ways to pivot more into business. So whether it's a job you have, whether it's a family you have, these are all responsibilities. For some of you like me, there was a season of my life I had a church, I had a family, and it was really my job pastoring a church when I pastored for 12 and a half years. But over here, I had this business idea. I had this dream. And even though when I wasn't with my family, I pivoted over here. When I wasn't at my church, like I was 7 days a week, in between, I pivoted over here and always created some opportunities. So I always made money. I pastored full time for 12 and a half years. I started my ministry in 2007, even though I was preaching before then. But my wife and I, for 4 years, we preached, we supported churches, we planted that church in 2007, and I went all the way in. I went all the way. I mean, I dropped everything. My wife was still holding on, doing the real estate. I supported her. She was the salesperson. I was the handyman. I was the marketer. I supported her. She was maintaining the primary role. I had a supporting role at that time because I was building a church. I was pastoring people. I was marrying, burying, and counseling and baptizing. That was my job every day, even though I wasn't getting paid to do it. I mean, you don't just get paid to do something just because you do it. It wasn't like a church hired me, so it wasn't that kind of church. I started the church from the ground up. But when the time came, I was able to pivot into the business, but I already had proof of concept. I already had things that I had proven that worked, so it was easy for me to properly package those things in the form of a legitimate business because I already knew while I was doing these things, jumping in and out over here, I had tested them enough to know that they actually worked. So that's why it's only been a few short years since I resigned as a pastor and pivoted like full time into business. It's just been 3-4 years. And my business has accelerated. Our entire organization has celebrated. It's even been better for my church now that my wife pastors. Everything just exploded in the last 3 or 4 years, but it took 16, 17 years to work all this stuff out. It don't have to take that much time for you because you got people like me, you're getting coached and mentored, whether it's in a real paid program or whether it's through these live shows in the internet. But that all accelerates it, okay? So here's some things that you need to consider becoming. I talked to my coaching clients about this Monday. So if you're going to pivot, because you know it is pivotal for you to pivot, because you pivoting is your biggest asset, and it is a dynamic that must be set in motion, especially in this economic climate. What are the things that you need to become in order for you to properly and successfully pivot? I gave this to my mentees on Monday. I'm going to give them to you. 3 things. Number 1, you need to become the front door. And you need to start this today. If you talk to my team, my staff, and ask them, like, how does he put something to practice? They'll tell you. He'll put it to practice on the spot. So when we down there training in the morning, we role playing, I don't wait until I go get my desk nice and put together and my files in order and I wash my face and I eat something and then I jog and come back. No, I'm getting on the phone right now and I'm finna try what I just trained on. You get what I'm saying? I'm getting ready to put it to work now. I'm not waiting till 2 hours later. I'm not waiting 2 hours later. As a matter of fact, I just did it this morning and we got a client. So you need to become the front door. You need to become, number 2, the creative force. You need to become, number 3, the biggest giver, not the biggest taker. If you just do these 3 things today, I can't promise you, but I'm sure tempted to promise you. I probably can promise you something different is going to happen. Something different is going to happen. This is how you pivot today. I'm not talking about tomorrow. I ain't talking about next week once you go pray about it and go on a fast and fix your closet and rearrange your desk. Today, Wednesday, March the 22nd. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do to pivot? Thank you. Brutus just asked, what you mean by front door though? What you mean by front door though? Let me explain to you what I mean by becoming the front door. This is how you pivot. Remember, when I say pivot, I'm talking about you pivoting into the marketplace. Okay, so let me break this down for you. Okay, what is the marketplace? The marketplace is the business community. The marketplace is YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. That's the new marketplace. You don't have to literally go out of this building and go to the mall to go to the marketplace. Every time you open up one of these social media apps, you are in the marketplace. The same people who are in the mall that you pass a flyer out to are the same people who watch in Facebook. The same people that you meet at a physical networking event are the same people who are on meetup.com, who are on Eventbrite, who are on IG scrolling. These are the same people. Okay? So when I say pivot into the marketplace, I'm saying there are certain things that you need to become so that when you go on Facebook, when you go on IG, when you go on YouTube, when you go on Twitter, when you go on TikTok, you ain't the one goofing off. Everybody else is goofing off. You on there lurking because you're looking for someone who needs whatever it is that you have to offer. Here is where these 3 things that you must become play a role. So to the question that I just got, bruh, what you mean by front door, dog? Front door. Front door. I'm the front man. So the fact that you see me and you hear me right now on YouTube, I'm the front door. I'm the front door to show you how to make money as an entrepreneur. I'm the front door to show you how to win big in this economic volatility. I'm the front door giving you the game so that you can see, hey, this guy obviously knows something. He's a millionaire mogul. He's built a 7-figure organizational enterprise. He come from the hood. He was a drug addicted criminal. He has no background other than a criminal background. He has no formal education. He trained and educated himself and came from the guttermost to the uttermost. He a man of God. He's been a husband for over 20 years. He's a granddaddy. He's a business mogul and a consultant. He's teaching people how to start and structure holding companies, how to build their assets out, how to create legacies and generate wealth for themselves and their family. And he's doing it, watch this, for free 99 on YouTube. What does that mean? I'm the front door, dog. I'm not the back door. I'm not the back door. So you listening to me right now, it's things that you just good at doing, but who knows you good at doing it? Who knows you good at doing it? Who knows what you really good at? I was listening to a couple of my clients talk about some stuff the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, Man, I can't wait till I see them this weekend because they coming to our events this weekend. I'm going to tell them, bruh, why you ain't out on social media being the front door talking about that thing that you was telling us about with so much conviction and so much confidence? So think about it. A front door is the gateway to get people in the house. A front door should be the most pleasant, welcoming experience someone has. Like if someone invites you to their house and you get to their house and you get to the front door and it's roaches on the door, it's doo-doo on the door, people done spit on the door, somebody done wrote cuss words on the door. What is your impression of the inside if you see the front door looking like that? You're going to be like, bruh, no, what we ain't finna do. You got spit, doo-doo, cuss words, roaches on the front door. I can only imagine what the house looked like. So if you come to that front door and it's a clean door, something smell good because they done sprayed the door. They wiped the door down. Ain't no spider webs. Ain't no lint or anything on the door. You like, man, this must be a nice house inside because, wow, what an impressive door. You need to be the front door. You need to become the face of your space. Whatever the space is that I don't care if you're a network marketer. I don't care if you clean houses. I don't care if you wash clothes for a living. I don't care if you sell shoes, shine shoes, cut hair. Become the front door to your industry. You get what I'm saying? That's what I want to be. That's what I'm positioning myself to be. I want people to go to YouTube and Google, Yahoo, Bing. I want people to go to Facebook and TikTok, and I want them to search holding company, business infrastructures, and I want my picture to show up because I want to be that front door. You take the OR off of there. I want to be the front door. All right? So you also want to be the creative force. You want to become the creative force. What this means is sometimes once you start becoming the front door and people start coming to you, that you realize they don't really need what you have inside of the house. They need what the neighbor has. So now you have to become the creative force. Number one, you got to become the creative force to the people you're communicating with, even if you don't have what they need, but you can be transparent and honest and assist them. But then the people you introduce them to and connect them to, you should already be reaching out to them saying, hey, let's say, for example, if you cut hair, if you're a barber, okay, you use clippers, you use spray, you use oil, you should be reaching out to people who sell that, whether it's the beauty supply store or a distributor, because you want to start creating this force so that you can flow other people's power to you. I'm giving y'all so much game on this show today, y'all. And number three, you need to be the giver, not the taker. You need to be the giver and not the taker. You need to be the giver and not the taker. How do you become the giver and not the taker? Give. Figure out how you can give people value. If you got people who are mentors and who are helping you, like I tell people this all the time. Okay, you can reach out to me, call me, ask me questions, and I give you answers. But if you don't never like lean in and say, you know what, I'm going to support you, man. You doing good. I just talked to somebody this morning. As I said, I put to practice what I just trained with my team on, and I made a call, and the young lady was just commending me on what she has learned on YouTube for me, how it's impacted her life. And she's like, I want to connect. Send me the information over. I'm connected. I want to be mentored. I want to be a part of your programs. I want to learn everything I can to grow my business. In other words, she understood, even though she connected to me at the front door. She realized that I was a creative force. She wanted to flow that power of knowing how to build a successful business in her direction. She came giving. not just taking. She told me, I've already taken information from you. I can only take so much on YouTube. I can't get everything you got unless I pay to play. So for you, I don't know where you are in your entrepreneurial journey. I don't know if you are seeing the results you want to see in your business. Maybe you have a holding company, you don't know anything about it, you're looking for it, that's how you found me. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to diversify your operations and your entities. Maybe you're looking for ways to create systems and processes because you don't know how to create it. You're looking to really put a successful business together. This is what I do for a living. And I don't just have a business selling you how to have a business. See, a lot of people have programs and courses that they sell, but their business is actually to sell you the course or the program on how to do what they probably haven't done. I built a successful organization way before I pivoted all the way over to provide coaching and education. So my coaching program, I just started it like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I didn't even want to coach because my wife and I were successful consulting, and we were successful in real estate, and we were successful doing what we did in ministry. But I saw a need that people wanted to have more access, more support, more accountability, more mentorship. I created a coaching program 3 years ago. Right? 2.5 years ago. 3.5 years ago, I created my online educational program. So these are things that I did after I was already making money, after I had already seen success. So I'm not just selling you something and making that my way of living because I'm selling it. I did it, so I know what I'm selling you works. So if you know you need that support, whether it's online education, you need to learn about business ownership, holding companies, you need to learn about financial literacy, you need to learn about systems and processes. We have some amazing programs available for you, and I would love to have an opportunity to talk to you about those programs. All you need to do is text me today, and I'm going to reach back out to you. All you have to do is text me, and I'll reach back out to you. You can text the word millionaire to 678-276-8253. That's what I need you to do. Text the word millionaire. You text the word millionaire to me, and we're going to reach back out to you, and we can talk to you about our millionaire programs. We have a Millionaire Blueprint, which is an online business and financial training program. You could get instant unlimited access to train at your own pace. You will learn all the ins and outs of what it takes to become a millionaire. You will learn that. You will learn that as long as you track through those courses and the lessons and modules that we have. You'll learn about how to start and structure a holding company, how to build your holding company with divisions and subsidiaries. You'll learn about creative tax strategies, financial literacy, creative cash flow strategies, real estate investing, sales, marketing, business systems. You learn all the ins and outs for what it takes to build $1 million company and to become a millionaire, okay? We teach you that in the Millionaire Blueprint. We also have a Millionaire Mentorship Program, which is a step up from the online program, which also includes weekly coaching calls with me and my team and workshops. We host workshops throughout the year to help you with the nuts and bolts and to polish and fine tune all the things you learn on the Millionaire Blueprint. So I would love to have an opportunity to share more information with you. Maybe you have some questions because you're not clear where you need to start and what you need to do first. We can help you with that. We will provide that initial assessment over the phone with you absolutely free. Just text millionaire to 678-276-8253. 253. I appreciate all of you for joining the Ramon Preston Show today. Please put in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from today's show. Put it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and let Lolly Dolly everybody know the Ramon Preston Show is live Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, right here on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. And I think currently we're live on LinkedIn as well. Love and appreciate all of you. I'll be back here tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon on the Ramon Preston Show. Have an amazing rest of this Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow right here, 12 o'clock noon Eastern.